Good morning, YouTube. This is Chris Green again at Outdoor Power Tech. I'm wanting to get started pretty quick. I'm wanting to get this knocked out a good bit today on this video. I got a lot of projects going on. So where we left off was putting that sump cover on with the gasket. And I want to go over your governor arm. Okay, if you can see, there is a clip on there. I took the clip and the arm off of the other one. Let's get over here where it's shady. There we go. That's better. I took this off the old one that was broke, and there is a clip. What you want to do is, there is a hole through your shaft right here that the clip goes in. What you want to do is turn this clockwise till it hits. We're not setting the governor right now. This clip stops it at a certain point right there. Now yours may not have this, so when you put that arm on, you might want to put that arm on before you put your sump on, because this will push back into the motor and fall in. So if you do not have that clip, then before you put the sump on, go ahead and put your governor arm on, push it on, leaving about 1/8 of an inch of the governor sticking past your governor arm. That way when you do set it, you can hold this and move your governor arm. But if yours does have a clip, what you want to do is turn this all the way clockwise, because you remember it has that paddle on it. And your governor gear's down here, oil slinger, or governor gear, your oil slinger's on the crank. But this helps sling oil also. Your governor gear's down here, so you want that paddle to be pushed down. So turn it clockwise and put your clip in. Okay, now your governor arm goes on like this, not like this, like this. I'm just going to go ahead and just stick it on. I'm just going to get this hand snug, because we're going to be setting this later. Okay, now we're going to be reinstalling the gas tank. I've done cleaned the gas tank out in my parts washer. Everybody's texting me right now. Okay, sorry about that. I had a bunch of customers texting me. Alright. Let's remember how this went on, okay? Your spring goes on this bottom piece right here, not the other way around. It doesn't go on this one. It goes right here on this. and this goes down. Let me get a light in here so we can see it. Hopefully y'all can see that a little better. Okay, so your governor's going to be above your slide. And remember, this was on your spring right here. It's going to go on this slide, on this linkage, whatever you want to call it. I really don't care. And then this one's going to go on your third notch. And it goes like so. If y'all can see that, just remember how we took it off. I'm gonna get a pair of needle nose pliers and just bend this screw. Let me re-bend this. Be gentle when if you have to re-bend these springs, because they can break. Now this might take you a few tries. It can be aggravating. Okay, there we go. I tend to hold this up like this so it kind of holds its position. You don't want this to go down and then you're trying to, smash this in there. Go ahead and get it up in the position it needs to be in. Put your gas tank in place. Get our bolt that holds it in place. And you have a couple different bolts. Let me see if I can get them all together and show you which ones. See here. You have those three. Those are for your housing. You might have 4 on your model. Those 2, they are the Phillips heads. The bigger ones, Phillips heads. You only have 2 like this. Hold your carburetor in. This one right here, hold your gas tank in. Then this real small one right there is to hold when your side cover's on. These 3 holds the carburetor to the gas tank, and those 2 small long ones, I think they're 1/4 inch heads on that, or hold your coil pack on. Okay, let's get you back down here where you can see. So this one is the one we're going to put in here. And I believe it is a 3/8. Get my extension. You can get this one kind of snug. Don't get too tight there, because you'll have to maneuver this gas tank. You see what I'm saying? You'll have to maneuver it here later on. Okay. Now, I've got my carburetor in my parts washer right now. Go ahead and let's see here. Okay, here we go. Alright, that's the gasket that came off of your carburetor. And they put a couple different ones in this kit. And right here it is. And it will go on like so. Let me give me a little punch. Okay. Now we're not putting the carburetor on right now. I just want us to go ahead and get that gasket out. Don't throw away your old gasket if it's still okay, because if you booger up your new one, you have a backup. Okay. Alright, let me get y'all here where y'all can see. Okay, here's your carburetor. Sorry if the lighting's bad. I got sun coming through my window this morning. Okay, these carburetors are fairly simple. The first thing we're going to do is I don't know what's better for y'all. First thing we're going to do is take off your diaphragm cover. And sometimes they Phillips. Most time on these older ones they are flat. See if I can see that right there. Okay. Set these screws somewhere safe. They are very little. And if your cover's on there, you can pry up a little bit somewhere. Don't go start hitting it real hard, because this stuff is aluminum and will break. Yep. You can hear that. That's your diaphragm. It's dry. It's bad. So we're going to just pull that off. And then you got a spring in here. I don't know if my kit came with springs, just the whole thing. But I'm going to spray, okay. Definitely going to spray that spring, the spring in this little washer that's indented on the back side that the spring goes in. And then I'm going to clean all this out. I'm going to spray all this. I'm going to spray in here. There's no neoprene or anything in here now that can be harmed by carb cleaner. I'm going to clean all this. It's okay if you get some on this rubber, but it's not going to really do nothing. But get all this cleaned out, spray all this down in there, get it all clean, and then what you're going to want to do is put your nozzle in here, in that hole, and spray, and it'll come out your tube. This one will. Spray in it, and it'll come out the end of your tube right here. Just keep spraying until it's clean. And then do the same thing on this other one. Just get it real clean. Okay, sorry about that. Another customer. This is going to be a pretty long video. Alright. Let me get my kit. This is something I do keep in stock. I order 100 at a time, because I don't do full rebuilds all the time, like every single day. But I have people come in with these old motors that need their carbs redone. But here's the kit, and it does come with a spring and washer. And the part number is on this one 10934. Alright, this can be kind of tedious. Just be patient with it. Let me wipe this down. Matter of fact, I'm going to Scotch Brite both these pieces. They're fairly clean. I still want to get them cleaner though. Okay, I'm going to spray that off one more time. Let that dry for a few seconds, because you don't want that on your diaphragm. And if you're wondering what I was using, it's an air Dremel. I got just Scotch Brite on there. You can use steel wool. If you use a sandpaper, don't use anything aggressive. You just want to get it buffed up. Okay. Okay. You get your spring and your washer like this. Then this bevel on the inside, you set on your spring. It doesn't go flat down like that. The bevel side goes on your spring. Set this down in your carburetor like this. Make sure it's working right and that it hadn't fall off, that your washer hadn't fell off the spring. Okay. Now when you put your diaphragm on, there's a notch right here. Up. There's a small roll pin right here. You just want to, where your two jets are right here, or this is your pickup hole where it picks up your gas at. You want to make sure that your flaps on your diaphragm are on that side. And you can't put it on upside down. Well, yes, you can. What you want to make sure is that this is lined up with the hole that your roll pin's going through. And then you have another hole. You have screw holes on this side. Make sure this one is lined up with that one. And then what I try to do is get this side down on there just a little bit. Just get it lined up. It's tedious, I'm telling you. Let me see if I can show y'all that better, because I want y'all to see how I did it. Once you get everything lined up, make sure that one's on that roll pin, or at least hovering above it. Get your plate, make sure your diaphragm's there, that roll pin, and put that side in first, where it just clicks in, and then push down. And then make sure you can look down through your screw holes and make sure those are clear all the way down, meaning that your diaphragm is not covering up the hole. And you can just by hand start threading your screws in. Just make sure that diaphragm is not covering up a hole. And then I do one side first, then the other side. And then this side. And then just get them snug. Don't over tight to where you stripping off the top of your head of your screw. Just get them tight. Okay. I didn't take out your idle control screw. I can if y'all want me to. I believe it is 7/16. Nope, it's a half. Another thing when you're working on these, make sure you're not holding it by your pickup lines. If you take this off, it looks like this. If yours looks really bad, you're going to want to replace it, the tip. This tip looks very good. And there is a jet inside there. I know mine's clean, but I'm going to go ahead and shoot some carb cleaner down it. Make sure when you put this back on, there is a washer on there. It's kind of like a rubber washer. Not rubber, but neoprene. Just get that snug. Don't over tighten. Okay, I'm going to blow all this off with my air compressor. Okay. Alright. Now we're going to set your carburetor back into the gas tank. Now remember what I said about putting this in. Your long tube, all you have to do is put it in at an angle like this, and it'll go in just like that. At an angle. Slide in, make sure your other tube goes in that hole. And then like so. And then on certain models you don't want to put these two screws in yet, because there is two arms that come down that's on a plate right here that your choke and throttle control is at. We'll go ahead. Now we won't put that one in either, because this is going to be your one for your pickup tube. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get our gasket for the carburetor and put it in. Let's see here. See if I can get something for y'all to sit on. Okay. Now remember, one of these is a booger to put in. What I'm going to do is slide this gasket in and put this bottom screw in through the bottom hole. And go ahead and put it into the block. I know you can't see that, but I'm just going to turn it in a little bit with my fingers. Then pull the gasket up to your next hole and put the other screw in through the hole in the gasket. And screw into the block. Make sure your gasket's lined up on the bottom screw and the top screw. Sorry for the lighting, guys. The sun keeps going in and out and in and out. Okay. Now, we want to snug this. And this bottom one, I do by hand. I usually do it with my left hand, I believe. Because I can put my hand up underneath here like this. Look, it. And just twist like this. If it feels like it's binding up, just jiggle it. The main thing is don't cross thread. Y'all pretty much see what I'm doing there. And sometimes if you have to just jiggle the carburetor, if it feels like it's binding up, it'll help it go in. Okay. Now, I believe it's a 3/8. Now remember, they put this in a weird position, so you just want to get her fairly snug. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the top one. Okay, now, now we're going to hook your linkage up. I'm going to clean this up. Let's roll y'all back over here in the light a little bit. That sun's winning big time. Okay. Now remember our little spring on there before? You want that. What I tend to do is hook the small how can I show y'all this? You see the spring on there? You see the hook on the spring? Not the hook on the linkage, but the spring, right there. It's really small. It's the size of a needle. I hooked that in first. Hook it in first and then pull back gently, and then put your linkage in, and now she's connected. Bring her over this way, and then before we mount your linkage to the carb, you pull your linkage up from your governor, making sure your governor is still above your slide down there, your throttle slide. While holding it in this hand, get this one, turn it vertical. You might have to find a sweet spot. See what I'm doing with this? It connects like right, it connects here, like so. You know what? I think I'm in the wrong hole on that. I am. I'm pretty positive I am. Yes, I am. That's why we're doing this together. It doesn't go in this hole, it goes in this hole. So I'm just going to do that same process over again that I did the first time. I'm going to get the spring in and then the linkage. Okay. No, it was right. I'm so sorry about that, guys. It was right the first time. My mind's somewhere else right now. My son's about to get his license and got to get insurance on him, and customers calling. Got a lot on my mind today. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, once you get it hooked up, I thought the screw hole's over there for some reason, but it's right there. Hold it up to there and turn it, and the linkage should work like that. Okay, now we're back on track. Okay, get your linkage, make sure nothing's bound up nowhere, make sure everything moves freely. Watch what I'm doing. Turn it like so. Put your linkage up into there until it pops in and then comes around. Get your screw, put it into there, and then screw it into your screw hole right there. This is a 5/16. And you can screw this in snug. And it should work like that. Okay. Now we're going to put in your screws. Into the top of your carburetor. Make sure, see, because it is off a little, make sure your gasket is lined up underneath the carburetor and gas tank. And sometimes when you put the screws in, it'll help them out. See how that popped out a little bit right there? Just push it back under. Make sure it's lined up. Where your screw goes all the way through the flange on your carburetor, through the gasket, and then to the top of your carburetor. And screw them in. Get them snug. Do not over tighten. Just snug it to right when it stops, and that's good. And if you have any carburetor issues, it isn't because of this seal between your gas tank and the carburetor. This seal, how can I explain this? This carburetor is not dependent on this seal to be sealed completely to have a vacuum. On this particular model, this seal right here, this gasket you put on, is just sealing off so gas doesn't come out of your carburetor and leak out. That's all it's doing. It's not to provide a vacuum. So if you're having problems with your carburetor running and think, oh, that seal ain't sealed off good enough, no. It's your carburetor is not dependent upon this seal holding a vacuum between the gas tank and the carb. It's just sealing off so gas doesn't cause your mirror. It pumps it up from the bottom and then drops it into the bowl inside there, and then your carburetor just sucks it out of the bowl through the other tube. So it's not this has no vacuum purpose. It's just sealing off so gas doesn't leak out everywhere. Okay. Make sure everything still works. Double check and make sure none of your linkages have came undone. Everything's still working the way it should be. Everything's working fine. Okay. Now we'll put your breather tube on. I'm gonna clean this up real quick. And there comes the sun again. Okay, now these rubber boots right here, if they're in good shape when you take it off, but they feel a little firm, you can place these in a Ziploc bag and fill it up with WD-40 and let it soak while you wait on your parts to come in. And then when you pull it back out, clean it up, and it'll recondition it. Alright. Now, Maybe we can use the sun to our advantage. Now, to put in the tube, it goes in like this. Put the first end in like that. Just wiggle it in. You don't want that to break off. And then this one just slides on your carburetor like so. And then we're going to get our clip here, and it goes like so. It goes on your breather tube and then on your carb. And that's where your other carb screw goes. We'll tighten this up. Once I get that one snug, I do go back just to make sure these are snug. And they are. Alright. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all have a blessed day. We'll see you next time.